Start the show!
He came all the way from Charleston for you guys, Mr. Andy Ryder. There's a lot of people here.
I love how the music just like died down, and I was still walking. Like it was just like, he's coming up here eventually. He'll be here. This is a low stool. Sorry. So hey, my name's Andy Ryder. I just never had a camera that big put in my face. So as you guys can probably tell by looking at me, I was homeschooled. It was a fun time. My mom never took it seriously at any point in time. Like, our literature class was us just reading Choose Your Own Adventure books based on literature. So like, we had Choose Your Own Adventure, Gone with the Wind, in which Rhett does give a damn, and then you turn to page 76 and Scarlett's holding a baby. For some reason, it's like, oh, there's a good picture. We did Choose Your Own Adventure, Pride or Prejudice, because you had to choose Pride or Prejudice. I chose Pride a lot, and so did my mom, which is what led to the judge eventually asked me like if I wanted to choose my own parent. A few years later, I was like, I don't know, I'm 7. Let me think about this. Like, both were kind of cool. My parents were all right people. They just like had their own things going on. My dad was selling a really weak version of ecstasy called Satisfaction. Nobody wanted any. And my mom was just kind of like, you know, she was sort of self-reliant. Like, people were like, she's going to fall apart. She's been a crazy cat lady. She didn't. She became a crazy boyfriend lady. There was boyfriends all over the house all the time. Like, who's this guy sleeping on our couch? Is he my new dad? No. Never with us. People were like, who was your father figure growing up? It was like Men's Health magazine. My great-grandmother got me a subscription to that. And I was just like, more like a magazine. It's just, when are you going to work out? When are you going to exercise? When are you going to lose weight? When are you going to have a baby? I was like, I'm 12. I'll think about these things later. I was really disappointed about the whole, like, me and my dad not working out. We didn't have much in common. I wanted to relate to him so bad. Like, I would just come up with these, like, very thin, like, strands. Like, we're like that. Like, my dad, when he was 12, he lost his leg due to a corncob pipe bomb. And, right? We've all been 12. We know. But when I was 12, I had a ponytail, and then I cut it off due to clarity. So he would experience like phantom pains in his leg. He'd be like, oh, my leg's on fire. Like, oh, I know, I feel like the wind going through my ponytail, Dad. Me and you. Nobody else gets us. Just me and you, Dad. We get it. Nobody else. But after my parents got a divorce, my brother and I had to go to like a regular school, which was like a big deal for me because I'd never been around that many kids before. Like, I didn't really play with kids in my neighborhood because a lot of them were into like doing things like finding pressure points, you know? Like, they'd be like, oh, you know, there's this one place in the head, if you hit the person there, they'll go unconscious. I'm like, it's called your head. I don't want to play this game anymore, we're done. So I got put in the regular high school, and immediately they put me in the high school Shy Club program, which is for kids who have like a hard time being around people, or just being people, or just like, you know, being, period. And so like, I was in this program, and the only rule about Shy Club is not talk about Shy Club, you write about it in your journal, your diary, or in my case, a Huckleberry Finn, the movie Trapper Keeper, because we weren't too well off, and everything we got came from Goodwill. One of the things we got from Goodwill was a Ouija board, but it was like missing the actual handpiece, so my brother and I just had a creepy alphabet. We just look at it and be like, oh, more like board game, am I right? Wait for something to happen. Another time my mom got us Monopoly, the game, but it wasn't like the American Monopoly board. It was like they actually have Monopoly boards for different countries with their own towns and everything to kind of make them feel more at home. And sometimes the rules change a little bit. Like, we had a Russian Monopoly board, and there was like a thin wire fence around the board, and like all the chance cards would just go directly to jail. And I was like, this is a rough game, guys. Why is there no dice? All the money was just oranges. There you go. So like, we had that going on. I remember like people would tell me about the tooth fairy. They're like, oh yeah, the tooth fairy dropped some money off. I was like, I just got an IOU from the tooth fairy. That's what I got. It's like, in a few years, you're gonna get something. You just wait. So in high school, like I was very proud of the fact that I was actually able to make some friends eventually. But I was just hang out with anybody. Like they were really into playing Magic the Gathering. Did anybody play that game? Yeah, that's high school right there. That's how low on the totem pole I was with my friends. So they played Magic the Gathering, which if you never played it, it's basically like if you invited all your friends over to play poker, where they all brought their own decks of cards and they draw on like wizards on it. And that's basically how the game's played. That's it. And I could not afford the game, so I bought the Dollar Tree knockoff version, Sorcery to Get Together. Nobody wanted to play that game. Nobody's interested in that. I worked in high school. I worked at an Ethiopian restaurant, which was pretty easy because all we served was famine. We just tables. They're like, I'm sorry, better luck next season. Guys, don't worry. If you were the 100th customer, we would give you a UNICEF package. But then one of us would dress up like a local warlord, and we would take it from you and sell it outside the restaurant for like guns or whatever. Guys, the population of Ethiopia is not here, and if they were, they'd be like, it's true. Promise. But I did that. That's what I did. And I didn't really have much going on for me in high school. Like the guidance counselor called me to his office one day. He was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I was like, "The Incredible Hulk." He was like, "We're gonna put you down for chemistry." I was like, "Okay." So I went to college for chemistry, and I found out two very important facts. One, the Incredible Hulk is in fact a fictional character. And two, the Incredible Hulk was a nuclear physicist and not a chemist. So, wrong career path, right? That's just true. I did not become the Incredible Hulk. I did become an obnoxious Christian, though, which is almost the same thing. You just kind of show up on people's doorsteps, ruin their day, and then walk off. People wish you would relax. They're like, hey, you didn't need to say it. Like, people need to hear this. It's important, okay? I remember the summer of between my freshman and sophomore year, I had friends that were actually doing things with their lives, and they're like, we're gonna go to Europe, we're gonna run with the Bulls. Do you want to do that? And I was like, no, because I was agoraphobic. I did not want to be bored at any point in time. I was just like, that's okay. So I just stuck around home, and I basically just volunteered time at Habitat for Inhumanity. We built castles for low-income wizards and their demon spawn, and it was a big deal for me because I met my first girlfriend that way. Which is high school, that's when most people meet their first girlfriends. But in high school, some people are really good at playing hard to get, and I was really good at playing hard to want. I was just so awesome at that, guys. People were like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm building chainmail to protect myself from future relationships and possible heartbreak. And you're like, that's what the personality's for. I'm like, I know. I should just do that. So that's what I basically did. I just met this girl, and we hit it off. We had a lot in common. I mean, not everything was in common. Our religions were different. I was Christian, and she was diagnostic. And, we didn't last as long as I wanted to because our central processing unit burnout. But what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? This is what I did. I got very sad, and my brain kind of works like Pandora Radio. Do you guys know Pandora Radio?
Yeah.
Okay, there's some nods. I really can't see you guys. Could you raise a hand? I know that. Okay, so there's 4 or 5 people. Okay, the rest of you, Pandora Radio is an internet radio station that suggests artists based on the artists you already like. So for instance, what's your favorite artist, man? Your favorite band, singer, rapper, concerto piece? Sting? Okay, so they'd be like, oh, if you like Sting, you might also like guy who sounds like Sting. That's kind of how that works. They just suggest artists that are similar. Guy who sounds like Sting is pretty good. What about you, sir? Favorite band, singer, rapper, concerto?
David Gray.
David Gray? Okay, so if you like David Gray, you might also like Damien Jurado. Kind of folky, likes to sing sad songs about people getting divorced, or thinking about the divorce they just went through and why their child's not sitting in a car seat. That's what they sing about mostly. You're just like, whoa, that poor kid. I think that's the sad part of the song. No car seat. Sometimes Pandora also does actions based on the music you're listening to. We noticed you like to listen to a lot of fast music. You also like to run. I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think I would know if I like to run. I tried running one time, and I like to listen to Elliott Smith. similar to David Gray, except he sings mostly songs about heroin abuse and women leaving him, which are thinly veiled metaphors for heroin abuse. All the women are named Carowin. I'm like, I get it. I get it, Elliot. We're all there, man. So I don't like to run, but my brain works like Pandora radio. My brain was like, well, if you're considering suicide, you might also consider being an actor. And I was like, that's a good point. Because I'm very good looking, and I'm also anorexia curious, so with you, try it. I did like one film, I tried out for it, and they were like, there was like a really small budget film, so like, you just want it, yes, you're in. And it was like this, like one of those odd couple romance stories where like, I'm a New York stockbroker and she's a half woman, half horse who pulls the carriage to New York. And I'm really good at my job. She's really bad because the bottom half is human and the top half is horse. So. I live in a high rise and she lives in a stable. Will we make it? I don't know. We're still filming. We're going to find out. I don't know. One of the things that was weird about the movie was the fact that like, actually in my contract I had to like sign a disclaimer saying that I would maintain a certain weight the entire time of the film. Like they have that for some TV shows and things because they don't like it when actors suddenly gain weight from scene to scene. Like it's weird. I don't know. You guys seen Sesame Street? You know what I'm talking about. Big Bird's like really big. And he's like sitting down. He's eating. So I was like, all right, I'll exercise. And they wanted me to do CrossFit. CrossFit is like if you took an entire year's worth of exercise and said, let's just do it today, right now. We've got like an hour, let's kill it. But I made sure to do it through a church group, so it's called Crucify Fit. And this first day, oh man, that killed me. 3 days later, I woke up and people were like, you didn't do it. I was like, totally did, guys. Look at my hands. Look at my hands. Come on. Calluses. A lot of calluses right now. But yeah, like I said, I only did that one movie. It wasn't like a big deal in my life. Like it did reawaken my ideas of like wanting to be in a relationship with a woman though. And I remember my friends were like really big into like online dating. Like you should try online dating. You should try online dating. You should try online dating. It's 3. And I was like, okay. So they were like, we'll sign you up, and they signed me up, and I thought it was gonna be like Match.com. But it wasn't. It was like WrestlingMatch.com. Like everybody seemed to have their like spikes up. People were like very like all their like just like their posts or whatever. Like, how dare you judge me? I'm like, I don't know what's going on here right now. I don't know if I want to date somebody like that. Like, how dare you judge me? I just met you. I'm not judging anybody. You look attractive? Is that a judgment? I don't know. So I met this girl, and it was very awkward because the minute I met her, she started putting the moves on me, like chokeholds and stuff. And it felt very awkward about the thing, because she was suffocating me, and had to tap out of that relationship really early on, guys. But I was like, okay, maybe I'll just think about work, and I didn't like finish college. I just worked. I worked at Mattel. I designed Barbie dolls. I don't make anything. I designed them. And the thing about that was that I designed a couple Barbies you guys might have seen. I did civil engineer Barbie. She's very smart. She has no accessories, but she's very smart. She knows a lot about bridge building. And has some good ideas about what to do about infrastructure. I also they wanted a Barbie that represented like a certain time period. They're like, like a new age Barbie or like disco Barbie. I was like, I got it. So I did Cold War Barbie. She has a constant look of anxiety on her face, and like a gas mask and nuclear fallout shelter playset. And she'll just step on little like panels of the fallout shelter and say things like, I wonder where Ken is, and at least I made it out alive. I'll tell you guys this story real quick. This is like, my wife is Korean, and it was very interesting, like the way we met. Like it was just pretty normal for the most part. But the thing about it was like she wanted me to meet her family, who still lives in Korea, but she was never very specific about which Korea she lived in. And then you find out, she was like, it's North Korea. I was like, what are we gonna do? Go to the fence and like wave, or what do you I don't understand? She's like, we're gonna go there. And you can go there. It's just they don't supply you with a gun or anything. You're just going in with truth and honesty on your side, you hope. And I remember like the first night there, we had to stay in like one of those self-sufficient hotels, like the hotels that run off like, this run off the power of the wind or the sun, but this one ran off fear. We which we supplied quite a bit of. And then, like, we had to, like, they wanted us to redo the whole, like, vows and everything in front of them. So we did, like, weddings in North Korea are kind of like kids' birthday parties here. There's, like, a lot of games leading up to the main thing. Like, we played musical chair, where we all danced around the same chair, and then we shared it, because, you know, communism. And then we played a game called pin the dagger on the picture of the communist leader's face, and they just hand you the dagger, and they're like, do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. And then we followed it up with a game called Duck Duck as the Secret Police, followed by a game called You're Being Deported Now, and that was my favorite. But the one win that came out of that was that, like, I'd never left Charleston before that. Like, that was my first time ever really, like, leaving the country, and the main reason for that is because the way I was raised. I just understood that like, my understanding of other cultures comes completely from Street Fighter 2. Fireball and I'm done. And I made it, guys. I made it. So, listen, guys, that's my time. Thank y'all so much. Have a great night.
What time it is?